Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City!
Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right, hello, good evening. How the devil are we all? We're back. Leicester are back. That was more like it. I mean, I think it was a bloody good performance. One of our best of the season. Or maybe I'm seeing it with blue tinted spectacles on. Let us know. This is the Leicester v Rennes Europa Conference League post-match show. I should have said that and cleaned my teeth first, shouldn't I? This was who we... Yeah, just in case you know. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. It is the European Conference League post-match show, and you can find us on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give us a subscribe and smash those likes. If you're on Facebook or Twitter and you follow us, you can watch us on there. And if you're listening to this on catch up, I mean, nearly 21,000, as good as 21,000 downloads. Absolutely amazing. Spotify, Google, Apple iTunes, Amazon, Podcast Addict. Find us and thank you very much for listening. This is where we are.
Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow and join in now.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
Indeed, we are. Mike, first of all, good evening. He wants to say first, big up Chris, a great mate of mine. Who are you? Do I know you? Mates? Don't start being mates now we're winning. Mike, mate, good evening. Congratulations on you. 2,500 on your channel. Mike Green TV. Get over there and check him out if you like your darts. Thanks very much, mate. Hit the like button, subscribe, please do. Great man. My God, can I clip this? Can I clip this and save this, Mike? Chris is a great man who knows his stuff well to a degree. I must admit, I don't know my lower league stuff. You seem, well, you still lost, didn't you? Dan might be trying to get Agile on the basis of good behaviour. Yeah, well, yes. Have you seen the haircut? We're going to say hello. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Going to say hello to my co-colleague who hopefully is as overjoyed and high on winning as I am. We shall see. Brad, good evening. How are you?
I'm elated, mate. I mean, I remember us talking about this match when it was coming up after Leeds and that, and I said, in an ideal world, Leicester get a clean sheet, Leicester win maybe 2 or 3-0, go into Rennes full of confidence, go into Arsenal full of confidence. Maybe my prediction skills haven't quite gone down the drain, because I did say we'd win 2-0 tonight. We left it late to do it, but I'm very happy with it. That's a huge second goal. It's not just an important result and an important clean sheet, but the fact that we got that second goal really has given us that initiative.
I was actually watching it with my son, and all through it, he's going, Dad, we need a second. Dad. And I'm going like, yeah, but if we were 1-0 up, it's more important not to concede than getting a second. And of course, Leicester went and did both. We're back, aren't we?
Well, you can certainly...
Yes.
Well, you just ruined it now. But,
sorry, mate.
No, we certainly are back. We certainly are back. Let me try and sort this camera out, because I see I've gone small screen. There we go. Sorry about that. No, it certainly felt that way. I mean, even the commentator that I had it on that I had to listen to it on, I don't know if it's the same one as you, but even he was saying in the first half, when Leicester started to ride the wave and got into the game, because they grew into that game, they had to. It was smart, to be fair. But realistically, I mean, I remember a chance in the second half that was clear cut for Rennes. And I'm talking you're looking at that chance thinking, all right, that had a good chance of going in. Casper saved it with his foot. It was about the 76th minute. In all fairness, both keepers were very quiet. The difference was, when we had our big chances, they went in the net. And it's just something you need in these sort of competitions, Yeah,
both keepers, I think, did one save each.
Yeah. But the other keeper had to pick his ball out of the net twice, and ours didn't. So...
Yeah, I mean... I was worried going into this. We'll come on to the team and everything, obviously, in a second, but just to have a general chat to start with. And at the start, they were coming for us, and they'd obviously read the book. They'd looked at it and gone, Leicester don't always get off to great starts. If we can get an early goal, the crowd might get on their back. And they were really going for it. And we're saying, oof, we couldn't see them scoring. They never actually, threatened Casper, like you say, but it was all them at the start. And then we slowly got back into it.
Yeah, and I actually think that's quite clever of Brendan, because you can do all the research you want, but we're used to playing teams in the Premiership, and I know you only played them twice a season, but you're used to the style of the English game, and you've got a very good understanding of how most teams try and go about their business in the English format. You can do as much research as you like, but it's a one-off game. Well, it's 2 one-off games against Rennes.
2 one-off games.
I know, right? I thought that through, but then realised obviously the second.
What have you been drinking? I know we're celebrating, but come on.
I know. I got it wrong. You see, I turned water into wine. I thought I was doing it backwards. You see, I did that, and it's just hit me. No, but yeah, I mean, you can do all the research you like, but you've got to kind of see it yourselves. And I think, even though it might have felt a bit scary and we felt a bit up against it as fans, a bit nervous, and you could hear it in the crowd, I liked it from Leicester in a way, because it showed how smart they all are. Because Brendan Rodgers probably went, right, this is what we know of them, this is what we can prep for, but let's not get too excited, let's not try and get too eager and leave ourselves really exposed. Let's ease our way into this game. Let's try and read the game situation and see if what we've worked on is how they're going about it. And then we can up that tempo. And that's exactly what Leicester actually did throughout the game. They did that in bits. And they did that most pivotally at the start of the second half. And then they had that spell. And then they had the little spell near the end where Casper ended up making probably his only save of the night, as you said. Yeah. And then they got the crucial second goal, which is just detrimental going into the next leg.
It does. It's all the difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they have to come at us even more than they were probably hoping to. At 1-0, they'd have still fancied the chances at home, but now they've got to go and score 3.
Yes, yeah.
At home.
for those that sort of Kasper's taken a lot of criticism this season, and it's funny when he did actually kick it out long ball, it did go out out of play. Yeah. But I tell you what, the sign of a sign of an excellent goalkeeper is when you don't have much to do, and then when you're called upon, you produce a save.
Yeah, exactly. It's all it's probably one of the harder jobs to concentrate on when you're not seeing much of the ball. I mean, even as a defender, if you're having a nice, easy game, you're normally switched on because you're involved in some form of the process, trying to create an attack, whether that's pushing the line or going forward as a right back or a left back or a wing back or whatever role you're under. So goalkeepers, though, they could, like you said, and with resolute defending was the reason behind it as well. Grinding, excuse me, team cohesion.
You need a cigarette, mate.
No, I don't. That's what I'm giving. That's what I've been giving up, mate. It's just that's what I've given up. I've been giving up for a while now.
Dan says there, champagne moment of the season so far.
No, I wouldn't go that far. It's a good victory. It's a nice victory, but it's job half done. I know it's a lot easier to rest on it. We feel a lot better. They're going to feel a lot more confident, but it's job only half done. You've still got to go there. And while the odds are now probably stronger, you're probably looking at on like one of them win castings. It's probably 60% on Leicester, maybe 30% on a drawn game overall. But you're looking at Leicester to really get through on the tie, given the advantage. But
yes,
we haven't played these at their ground, and we've just got to keep that confidence going. I don't like a champagne moment because then I'm going to get hit. Do you know what I'm then going to hear? If Leicester do get knocked out in the next round after this or lose this tie, well done on your cup final. I don't believe in champagne moments when we're still in a competition because the champagne moment.
See, I do, and I mean we'll come on to. You've seen it, I know, because you've retweeted it onto Alan's, ratings and what have you. I actually disagree with him quite heavily this week, but
I don't know if you saw my comment, but I obviously raised an eyebrow on Facebook about his. Well, I won't say which one. We'll get on to it at the end, but there's one rating in particular that I've raised an eyebrow to because
I was surprised. We'll come on to that, like I said, but to me. And when he sent me them, he sent me them through. And obviously, when he sends them through at the end of the game, I'm checking on, I'm updating my website and updating all the stuff and what have you. And I saw the messages, and I always say thank you. And I didn't really take it in. And I actually went, best performance of the season so far. And then when I looked at, the ratings, I thought, no, you obviously don't think so. To me, though, I mean, as Dan said, for me, I don't think we've had many better.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's satisfying and it was a good performance. I'm not saying, to me, when I say a champagne moment, I feel like that's someone saying that's the pinnacle of your season. Realistically, it's hard to do that over two ties because it's all well and good having a great solid performance and it's great confidence for lads. They'll go into the Arsenal game more confident. And then if they get a result out of that, they'll go into the second leg even more confident. Not just of getting through on the tie, but maybe even winning at Rennes, which to me, if you're saying overall, I'm to be decided. Because if we go to Rennes and beat them outright, then I'd say that at this moment in time, if you're going to pull me out for a champagne moment of like the best performance of the season, I'm probably going to pick that one. Right now, I think the way we maybe went about ripping Manchester United to shreds could be up there for me if you're talking one-off game so far.
I think because this is half a cup match, if you like. I mean, for me, it would still be hard to beat the Community Shield because that was, the Super Cup of, English Super Cup, because that was the start of the season. Turfmore said he's I think a good 24 hours of toilet trips and water didn't sort out. He's not been so good. Mate, as long as you made it to the toilet and not just the corner of the room. Brockline, welcome back, mate. How the devil are you? Kasper's played better since he played in Denmark and his father came to watch him. I don't agree with that, in fairness, Brockline. I'm not saying you're wrong, but for me, the whole team's been playing better. and when your defenders in front of you are playing, because I say as a goalkeeper, and hopefully you'll back me up on this, Brad, because I do believe you used to be a goalkeeper. I might have that information wrong, but I believe
you know what, mate?
used to
surprisingly, you're right.
Something just told me, but I always say a goalkeeper can save you. Yes, of course he can, but a goalkeeper can only be as good as the defenders in front of him. They're going to be the first line, literally, of defence, to state the obvious. Have a Michael Owen moment. But, if that defence in front of you is not performing, and, the opposition are going through you like hot knives through butter, you literally just can't stop everything coming at you. But the fact that, 3 clean sheets isn't just down to Casper. It's down, I think, to Marty and Soyuncu forming the partnership. JJ was back. And like I say, I think the whole team's improved.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. This is another reason why I'm not too fond of statistics, because it's easy to just make somebody look good or look bad by only telling one half of the story. For instance, I'll give Casper a case. I'm not sure entirely on the actual stat itself, but I think it's something like he's conceded the most goals per 90 something. He's got a really bad goals to conceded to games ratio this season. It's pretty bad, and conceding expected goals to concede is pretty high. It was averaging about 2 a game, which has no doubt changed now over the last 3 games, if they're including overall competitions. But even still, the two in the league will help knock that down a bit. But then you've got to remember the fact that, like you said, without a good solid defence in front of him, which he's had, and that has also improved game by game over these clean sheets as well. This was its best performance out of the 3 by none. And it was more team cohesive as well. You felt the comfortable reliance on the defenders to do the job, that the midfielders did their job where they needed to. And what you've got to remember is Casper's been thrown under the bus a few times this season. People have been hearing that he's conceding a lot of goals. Maybe Ward gets a chance. But the stat that they like to leave out, and this is why I say it's lazy but clever from journalists when they bring out these stats against a goalkeeper when their team's doing bad, is you forget that he probably faced the most shots that any keeper's faced this season, maybe barring a few other goalkeepers. He's faced a lot of shots. Tonight, he's not faced many at all. Like I said, I genuinely cannot remember them having a chance since I'm talking a clear-cut chance, not hitting it from 30 yards over the bar by about 50 yards. Like they had their wild efforts. I'm talking clear cut and a good chance going in, and that was on the 76th minute by them. Yeah, and that shows you how well the whole performance was tonight. And yeah, a keeper only seems to get, seems to sometimes take the full whack when it's going wrong, but it's deserved to be equally praised.
Mike said he also played keeper at Sunday League for 3 years. Was that in the prison team? Was that like, the Escape to Victory team, was it, Mike? I jest, Michael. I jest. I hate the criticism that the keeper gets half the time. Yeah, you're quite right. Very impressed just recently with Soyuncu and Marty. I mean, they were just, at times, just booting it up, which is what it needed. Ryan, good evening. How the devil are you? Great win for Leicester. Terry, good evening, sir. I enjoyed that, and the return will be a great match. I think it will be, and we can go into it in some confidence. Ryan here, Arsenal were a difficult game for Leicester, but you never know, Leicester can upset anybody. It is, and I suddenly feel more confident about Arsenal having seen that performance. And I've got to be honest with you, Brad. I know you're on Stephen's show tomorrow doing the tactical review of the match. I've got to say to you, to be honest with you, good luck, because I have just done both their channels in 2 days, and I've really finished my book, and I was ready for hanging myself at the end of it. Sometimes I have to go, hello, I'm still here. Yeah, it was. I think Mike pointed out that it wasn't so much a review of the match as an argument between 2 Arsenal fans. So, but have fun tomorrow, mate. Have fun tomorrow.
I will do. Cheers, buddy.
I think you might need it. Scott, not a champagne moment. I honestly thought Tillemans is going missing from us. You see, what I don't know what people expect sometimes. Again, Scott, great, it's your opinion, and I am not saying it is wrong. But for me, he had some lovely touches. Yes, he wasn't maybe, his name wasn't being mentioned every 5 minutes or anything like that. It depends what you can. I mean, you're seeing Barnes having these runs, and KDH having these runs. And, Tillemans can't be doing that as well. Otherwise, we've got nobody back. And I just think with Tillemans, he uses his brain probably a bit more because he's got that bit of experience. I mean, did you see the look that he gave Mark Albrighton after the goal? I mean, it was I mean, that's a good one.
I hope you've got a 5-minute segment or a 10-minute segment to talk about that goal. We'll get on to that because that was just.
Yes. We have, because we're not with it being a late night. Of course, we won't be doing the tactics board, but yes, so we will have time for that.
But yeah, I mean,
good evening.
We said this last year about Wilfred and Ndidi, didn't we? At points when Leicester were on red hot form, they weren't. They were scoring goals for fun. They were winning games comfortably. They weren't having any defensive tests, if you want, last season as much as they've succumbed themselves to this season. And we said sometimes when you don't hear, and when we weren't hearing Ndidi's name as much, it wasn't a bad thing. And you've literally just kind of backed that point up without even realising it. Isn't it far better to not always have to be reliant on Tillemans to get back, being reliant on Tillemans to drive forward, to be relying on Tillemans to make the killer pass, to open up a defence, to find half. No, we've got Dewsbury Hall, we've got Harvey Barnes, we've got Luton, we've got Albrighton, we've got these players. I think it's actually far better. And I said this to Scott myself in the comments because we've merged away from the Empire and built our own little facility island of a group chat that we discussed because we know you're busy working and we don't like disturbing you through the matches. And we just have and I said the thing is, it's great to see us driving forward as a team. And I think people are falling into the fact that because Tillemans has suddenly got 13 months or whatever it's on his contract left, it's a talking point. Tillemans has had them periods at Leicester where he seems like he's dropped off, but he's not. It's because he's now got players also on that same form. I mean, Maddison made a nuisance of himself when he came on. Barnes was great tonight. Albrighton was phenomenal tonight. We're talking about a complete unit of a performance and not relying on Maddison and a Yuri or one or the other to get us up the pitch. So don't read too much into it. Just because he's not seeing much of the ball, it's actually a good thing in a weird way.
Yeah. Paul, thanks so much for coming in. A Rennes fan. Paul Valli, is it? I'm useless at pronunciation. Good game, Leicester, from Rennes supporter, but there must be a penalty for Rennes.
I mean, no. I'm torn on it. I am torn on it.
Are we going on true handball? Are we here?
Yeah, I see where he's coming from, and I think if it was for us, we'd be a bit aggrieved not to have got it.
I mean looking at it, and there's no VAR, unfortunately, but his hand was covering his crown jewels.
You what?
His hand was covering his crown jewels.
Yeah, and I can understand why the appeal is because it does directly hit the hands, but it's such a close proximity. That I always try and look at an incident like that when you bring it up for or against us, and I try and think, could I argue it for Leicester to get it or not have it given against them or whatever? And I can see why it's not given because it's such close proximity. It's and I understand why they appealed for it and feel aggrieved for it, and I do feel a bit for them because I would be a bit aggrieved, but I can also see why it's not given. And did spare our brushes a bit because they just started to turn the heat up a bit, and it'd been a bit unfortunate if we'd get them away back into the tie at that point. But that aside, it was very professional elsewhere.
Yeah. Paul, I've just sent you a message back. Give us a follow on Twitter, and I'll have a chat with you about the game next week. We'll have to sort of try and get something together and get something going. No need to apologise, Mike. Just annoyed me today about how they didn't take notice of you. Then when I pointed it out, he timed you out, and we think he'd left anyway. But it was like a why am I here moment sort of thing. Chris was sat there while they were arguing about who's getting top four. I was like, they
do that every show. It's like their own segment. They might as well just be.
Why they go on each other's show just to argue? I really, really, really don't know. Yeah, Paul, I understand. Thanks for your explanation. I'm the same, Paul. I am the same as Brad. I look at it and think, would I be shouting for that? And I've got to be honest with you, VAR may well have given it, but I don't know. I just thought where was his hand supposed to be? If his hand's up here, it's unnatural. He's covering his crown jewels, which to me, when you've got a big ball being kicked at you, is probably a bit more natural sort of thing.
And I mean, and again, I look at it and I think about it. I think, well, it's directly at his hands. He could maybe take one to the nuts, which is easier said than done. I've had ball hit me in the nuts when I made a save before. It's not nice. It's not pleasant.
Oh, no.
But then it reminds me back to, and I don't know if you remember the game, Chris, but do you remember when Kevin De Bruyne jumped about 2 foot in the air in Man City's wall and went like that, and he stopped it in his own face and nothing was given? It happened against Leicester. It might have been last season or the season before. Yeah, De Bruyne had jumped, and I think the wall was in the box, and he jumped, and it was going to smack him square in the face, and he went like that, and he hit his hand, and nothing was given. And now I found that more baffling than Soyuncu not being penalised there in the box.
James, good evening to you. James here from the States.
And VAR would have probably given a free kick or offside or something just to be weird, because it's VAR and it's how they use it.
Could have gone Rennes' way, but with our luck this season, we finally get the right flip of the coin. Exactly what I said, James. I was, as soon as I said I thought the referee was, the referee, I think he was trying to keep the game flowing, but he occasionally got whistle happy.
He couldn't make up his mind.
Yeah, then next 10 minutes he wouldn't blow for anything. Then it was all us. Then it was, but yeah, business end of the season. Maybe our luck is now changing. We've got players coming back. It could be that perfect storm all coming back together for us.
There's no reason why it can't.
No, I am starting to feel a little bit more confident now. Isn't there a rule against protecting the body part if the ball is about to hit you? I don't. To be honest with you, there probably
must be with the two examples that we've just given. Like the one tonight that we've given and the De Bruyne incident I've just brought up probably prove that you're allowed to do it, which is strange.
Yeah. So we are looking at 2-0. Before, and we're going to talk about the goals because they were both amazing goals. What do you think of the team? I looked at that, and my biggest surprise was no. Jupokovic was the goalkeeper on the bench.
Well, yeah, that's probably about it in terms of surprises on there. But again, I'm still bored of saying it, even though we're saying it a lot. But I'm more saying it with a smile tonight. But it was. I looked at the team and I was happy with it. It's a nice thing to have with Leicester that you look at a team and no matter the lineup. Yes, Brendan has his moments where he gets bored and puts a Chowdhury at right back and it works. So I've learned not to question him either. So.
Well, as I always say, tactical genius.
You don't call him Brendan the Bellend.
No, I don't know who would ever do that. He's,
good side.
Look. I was to say, back four there. That was basically what we picked the other night with Craig in the preview show. Indeed, Tillerman's, Dewsbury Hall. I think the shock was all Brighton. Scott says Ward may have COVID. Could well be.
I've heard that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't hear I didn't hear my commentator say his name, but from the way he described the player, I'm assuming he was on about Fofana.
Yeah.
Is it? Apparently, he was supposed to be playing today or back in some form, and he's passed.
Did you have Jermaine Janus as a co-commentator?
No, it was just it might have been. I don't know. I wasn't.
If it was, then you were watching BT.
No, I had to go through.
Yeah. So I mean, good. I mean that will explain it anyway. But obviously, Brighton, was a good decision, without a doubt. Just moving past these from the other night. I mean, I know you're not a lover of stats, Brad, but look at that. I mean, possession was pretty much even. Shots, they had a few more than us, but I mean, again, a team of their standing, 14 shots and only 1 on target.
Yeah. We've got a better ratio going there. And again, the ones that might have stuck in the net.
For once. And we've I mean, they had 5 corners and we didn't let goal in. I mean,
no, and the thing is, minus that, I would probably say minus the Weghorst missing that chance at the back post for Burnley in that game, we've really sorted things out and been really solid, and it's really nice to see. You know, it's been a bane of our life, and again, you know, it had to be changed again. The back four, all right, that's because Chowdhury didn't start at right back, and it was probably a bit more solid of a change. But again, we've got to start having this debate, and it's going to be interesting to see what Brendan does, because I cannot believe I'm saying this, but who suffers for Fafana to return, or does Brendan?
I brought this up with
does Brendan try and get all 3 of them on there?
Well, he either goes for 3 at the back, and can I just say, Dan from the corner does not sound as sexy as Jenny from the block, so I wouldn't bother using that name if I was you. I mean, he could go 3 at the back to accommodate them.
He could put a Marty right back.
Yeah, but he's not as good in that role. But he could do. You've got JJ at right back now. You've got Thomas at left back. None of them deserve dropping. Unfortunately, Soyuncu is more the left-sided of him and Amarty, and Fafana is very right-sided. So it's almost certainly that Amarty would get dropped. I don't think so. I think there should be Amarty probably in Fafana, because Soyuncu's not had the best season, but again, at the moment, he is doing well.
I would say they're both doing well, but I would say that to me, Amarty's got the edge in the performances. I think he's been.
No, I agree, definitely. I think it'd be very, very, unfortunate if.
I think whoever goes is going to be unfortunate, unless, like you say, he finds a solution to get them all in, which I don't think he'd want to do. I think we've had to suffice with making enough changes, forced changes and tactical changes to resuit and everything this season. I think the fact we've, to an extent, had a settled-ish back 4 formation, I think he'd like to keep it. So unfortunately, one of them is going to have to miss out. But it's not something that normally over the past seasons has been a foregone conclusion, has it? No. If it was early in the season and it was Vestergaard and Amarty, you'd be chucking Vestergaard into the stands to get Fafana in over him the way he's had this season. Although, the last couple of times when he's featured, he's also improved. But it's going to be tough for Brendan. It's a nice headache for him to have, isn't it? To have such a class player back, and you're going to have 2 very good defenders.
Then moving forward next year, we would hope to be doing better in the league. We would hope to be going further in the cup competitions, and we would hope in some form to be in Europe. I mean, who knows, Chris? Let's have a little moment. Let's get of ourselves. Maybe next season we start having to parade around a European Cup. Well, exactly, and I know the Arsenal fans were sort of saying, like, we're 12 points behind Tottenham, who are in the conference point, and we've got 3 games in hand, and that's only 9. But there's 10 games to go or whatever it is, and you're not going to say that Spurs are necessarily going to win them all. So there's nothing is decided yet. And trying to explain to the Arsenal fans that it doesn't matter where you are at the moment. It's what you could say you could win the next 3, but it won't necessarily put you up any higher because you don't know what other teams are going to be doing. But
exactly.
We took the match. We took a battering for the first 20 minutes or so, definitely. And then, talk us through that Albrighton goal. I mean, it was sublime.
Oh, wasn't it just? I mean, you're talking about the guy who scored the first ever goal for Leicester in the Champions League. He scored, I believe he's probably scored on all 3 European competitions now.
They did say that, yeah.
Albrighton. And I mean, it was a bad pass initially, but it was one of them that was, you could tell the way and by the power of the pass and how it got to Albrighton, that it was more what I call a fail-safe pass. If he got it behind, I believe it was Daka coming in, which he did, he knew where Albrighton or somebody was going to be coming into. So it might look like a horrible pass that's just kind of fluked its way to Albrighton, but it really hasn't, because you don't hit a pass like towards Daka like that.
No.
With the intention of either him taking it straight in his time or hitting it first time, or Albrighton hitting it like he did. But oh my God, I put it out on Twitter, Mark Albrighton take a bow. I mean, what a hit. That was.
Do you think did he shout, do you think, at Tillemans to leave it?
Maybe he did. I mean, Mark Albrighton.
I still seem to think he did. I never heard. Well, you don't hear it, do you?
Well, I mean, I heard a shout. I'm not sure if that's what he said, whether it was Albrighton said it. Maybe he did. Maybe he just felt he got this sweetly connected, almost Steve Guppy-esque, wasn't it? Really, the way he wrapped his foot into the and he hit it like similar to Tillemans against Brentford in the home game, didn't he?
I mean,
which was
if the goalkeeper got a hand to it, he wasn't stopping that going in.
No, he could have dodged it out 100 times. He wasn't saving it, and he's probably. I mean, he scored some memorable goals in these competitions. When he plays in Europe, he does like playing in Europe. So maybe we need to keep doing well, so Albrighton can keep doing this for us in Europe, because you know we got that. He got the goal against Seville. We got the first goal in the Champions League. He's got this one tonight, and goal of competition. I mean, if you're sat there, I know Mike's in the chat, but if you're sat here as a neutral after this, when we finished and we've all gone off, go and check the highlights out just for that goal alone.
Yes, I do. Doug, how the devil are you? Hope you are well. I unfortunately, because I did know it was past his bedtime when the match finished, but how's the Europa League going for you, Jake? Yeah, maybe you needed to sort of tone it down a little bit. I was actually going to message you because you were the earlier kickoff, and of course you did lose 1-0, and I was going to text you about that, wheels coming off and bubbles bursting, and then my son looked at me and I went, "Yeah, I'll wait and see what we do first."
And also wait for the second leg, because. Well, Seville had a 1-goal advantage against us, didn't they? And look what happened. So we can taunt them a bit more if they get knocked out by Seville.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a great team goal, and from that point, it led to the rest of that half, the rest 15 minutes, we were just going through them, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, Rennes obviously came here with a game plan, and then possibly got to a point where they kind of, I don't know, it was almost like a panic setting, like they felt they had to take advantage of trying to. I mean, I think Leicester frustrated them. Leicester were a bit smarter in their gamesmanship, a lot smarter, and I was more impressed. I can't stand their gamesmanship. I know there were some tackles in tonight, but there was somewhere it was like, behave, mate. I'd be embarrassed if anyone
referee,
did that.
wasn't he?
It was a bit. I
thought he got his wife's credit card because he was buying everything.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, he was showing them all sorts, weren't it? It was great. He was buying absolutely everything. But what Leicester did very cleverly, and it actually worked in Leicester's favour. Actually, that was probably a very important battle that Leicester won, was the psychological one, because it would have been easy for Leicester to get frustrated, have a few cards, harsh tackles running. And we did that in the first half. And I think Brendan really spoke to them at some point, maybe got the word in just before, midway through that first half. Maybe he was able to get the message out to calm down a bit and not sucker into what they're going to do, because that's what they're here to do. And in the second half, it worked against them, because unless they were standing, Madison got told off a few times for the ref, and I don't understand why he's allowed to. But, they were getting shirty because a Leicester player was arguing with the ref, so having a bit, so they couldn't take it quickly. And it was clever by Leicester. It was like one of them, all right, we see your gamesmanship and we'll raise you this gamesmanship. That's gamesmanship we can tolerate.
It was only giving them back what they were doing,
Yeah. And if you do, and I'll tell you what, if you do that in Rennes, we'll go through in comfort, because in the end it kind of felt like it. Like you said, the second goal as well. It took a bit. It looked a bit weird on my screen watch. It looked like in the actual couldn't decide what to do with it. There was some moments in that last 5 minutes though where I thought we were doing the wrong thing. We played it around the back a bit. We kind of sunk back into our old.
We always do that. I mean, we'll come on to the goal obviously in a second. Before that, there was the substitutions. I forgot that, of course. I think you're allowed 5, aren't you, in Europe?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, it was 4. But I mean, almost. I mean, the commentator said, 60 minutes, and it's dead on, and it was dead on 60 minutes. The substitutions, you can say, I think these were planned. This was arranged. I mean, Justin, just before he was subbed, had a great run, and he was just so unlucky. He kind of, I think, lost control at the end. It was a fantastic run up the wing. That was, again, I've got to be honest with you, he got the substitutes right for me today. Cheers, yes,
yeah, he did.
5. Yeah, I mean, he was, as I said earlier, tactical genius. You've got Arsenal coming up. You've got the Rennes second leg next week. At one, I don't think we're ever going to lose tonight. It would have been disappointing if we'd gone at 1-1, but Inacho for Daka, Inacho plays a different game to Daka, and I like Inacho when he comes. I don't know, I feel a bit sorry for him, but I do like him when he comes on at the end. He's just got some lovely touches, and he holds the ball up.
Yeah, he does his job properly. And you're right. He plays a totally different role to both Doddy and Daka, and you saw it in the shape. And to be honest with you, that's probably when Leicester started to grab the initiative again near the end, because he gives them that lower line of transition between the attacking midfield. Well, the attacking midfield and Lukeman or Albrighton or Barnes or whoever it was on their wings were able to get further up the pitch because they had somebody like Iheanacho, like you said, sits on that last defender, pulls that defensive line as high as they dare go, so he can get the ball with either lots of comfort and then Leicester go forward in numbers, or he's pushing them back, making sure he's tight to them. So again, he holds the ball up. He did it so well when he does it. He does go unnoticed at times because he obviously hasn't featured as much as he did last season. But it's even more credit to him that he then goes and scores the goal that he did, because even I was like, that side foot finish though, that was beautiful for a man who's been starved of times and gets a lot of sympathy from us Leicester fans. Especially because of what happened last season and how restricted he's been. The fact that he can then go onto a pitch knowing he's fighting it out for Daka when Vardy's not fit, like he's unfortunately not again for a while, a couple of weeks, is he does that. He still does what he does. He's a professional job. He goes on and does what he asks for, and whether it's 90 minutes, 45 minutes, or 15, 20 minutes, it's the fact that you never see it sharp from him. And I think he's really still improving as a player, even though he's not getting as much time on the pitch. He's still showing the quality he's got, and that he's not dropped any of his confidence. Because it can be hard, can't it?
I mean, they're saying on the BBC, our second goal was against the run of play. But to be honest with you, we were just taking it because we knew that the chance would come to hit them on the break. And again, a great team goal. Had he got it to the left a little bit, it could have hit the post or gone wide. If he'd got it to the right a little bit, the keeper would have probably got to it because the keeper wasn't far off it. It was a sublime strike. It was like he found the perfect gap, and
he did.
And I mean, it was nice for us to score a goal in injury time for once, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, I mean, I just at 2-0, I do feel a lot more confident.
Yeah, and I think it sounds so easy to say it, doesn't it? But if you look at it, and even if Leicester weren't 12th and it was having a good season, I would still be looking at this in the fact that it's a game at ours and a game at their place. You're playing home. There's no more. There's no, we can still finish higher than them in the league. No, if you lose to them overall, you're out, sort of thing. It's very much at that point. And whether Leicester were, I don't know, sat third in the Premiership or something like that and having a fantastic season, I'd still be more confident being 2-0 up than I would be at 1, even if we were, because it just gives you that psychological edge. Because it's, like I said, and I'm sure their fans will still go there with the optimism that they can turn it around. I think also, if Leicester do what they did especially in that first half, and see Rennes 0-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Even the most optimistic fan, you do feel that atmosphere just gets the life just a little bit taken out of it. And if Leicester just go there and do a job in that first half, I mean, especially if they do to them what they did to Rennes and like a Harvey Barnes or a Daka or whoever gets a goal in the first 5 minutes, you just know then.
Randers, you mean? Yes.
Yeah, it's only Randers. It's because we're playing. I'm trying to combine them together to make them better, you see. But no. And again, people might say, we talked about it beforehand, and it was probably the toughest tie left in the that had come into the competition. One of the toughest, if not toughest, opposition out there. All right, Roma, you'd argue, are also one, but again, they're still one of the toughest ones. And obviously, there's that debate: would we have rather got the team that Celtic couldn't beat? Yeah, obviously it'd be more favourable, but then you get probably a bit more nervous. And you say you always have to beat them teams. If we can go out and knock this team out, there's no reason that we can't then go on and get,
I mean,
go further.
When you look, and I'm just going to say, sorry, Doug, I'd completely forgot. I'm glad you're feeling better. My bad. Of course, you've been
feeling better,
I do apologise, mate. But I had thought you were a bit quiet on the joke front, and if that's because of COVID, then hey, COVID's not a bad thing, mate. Sorry, but your jokes are like. I mean, when you look at, let's just go through the results tonight, and when you say that some of these teams, Salonika at home beat Ghent 1-0, so that could go either way. Partizan Belgrade lost 2-5 to Feyenoord, and Feyenoord were the away team. So I think that tie is possibly over. Probably the team that everybody wanted was LASK, Austria. Prague beat them 4-1. Roma away to Vitesse just got the win. It was 1-0. The goals away from home, to be honest with you, it doesn't make any difference now because they don't count for double.
No, it's not counting in the competition anymore, which I've always said is a good thing. I've always said that because I never understand now. You could be trash away from home, maybe get a 96th-minute goal, and you lose 3-1, but then because you beat them 2-0 at home, you go, no, I've never liked it. I'm glad it's gone as a raw score.
Bode, the team that's, they had to name twice, Bode Glint beat AZ Alkmaar 2-1.
That's a big result. A big result.
Yeah. Leicester beat
they've still got to go to Alkmaar, but
Marseille beat Bâle 2-1.
I know there's a 4-4 in here.
My God, Eindhoven 4, Copenhagen 4. My God.
Yeah, they're loving the fact that there's no away goal rules, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
Goals for everybody. It's like an open show.
I can't see Arsenal anywhere.
No.
I don't know where
you can't be saying that because I didn't see them on Tuesday. I didn't see them on Wednesday. I didn't see them at the early kickoff. Maybe. I know what it is, Chris. They competed for the 8th place trophy, not realising it wasn't for a European competition. I remember that's what they did.
Yeah, and as the song goes, nobody knows where my Arsenal has gone. Talking about Arsenal, I can only do this after all. It's the Daily Spurs. And just because everybody's asking me what the update is, 14 years, 10 days, 5 hours, 58 minutes and 45 seconds since they last won a trophy. Bye-bye. I know it's early days yet. If we do get through against Rennes, and it is Leicester, it wouldn't be un-Leicester-like not to go to there and get beat 4-0 or something. It's what Leicester's are like. I really, in the next round, want to get Prague.
I'm not arsed. I'm very old.
I know whoever we play, you've got to win. I just would like revenge on them.
Yeah. I know. Yeah and no, really. I'm not really bothered over the fact that they get knocked out. It's funny. I'm not bothered. at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. And you've got to face what you'd class as the stronger teams. At some point, people forget that when we were talking about, oh God, actually, we've probably got the first or second highest team in this competition, but they would have been thinking the same about us. Regardless of where Leicester have been in this league, they would have looked at Leicester and it'd have been well known in France. Leicester won the league, they won the FA Cup, they've done this over the last few years. They're a good side. They got to the quarterfinals in Champions League. Yeah, all right, they didn't have a brilliant campaign last year, but we don't want to take these on. So we got just as much respect as they did in terms of credit to them as a team. And at the end of the day, this is one of them where a neutral will probably would have looked at this and going, well, at least one of them's going out. You know what I mean? And I think we should take that mentality that, if we do the job correctly in the second leg, we will knock out one of the biggest contenders for it. That's one game. And then I'm not bothered if it's Roma. I'm not bothered if it's Prague. I'm not bothered if it's Gerrard and Butler who beat Celtic. Gerrard and Butler, they're like the footballing versions of Lambert and Butler. That team that knocked Celtic out. If I'm not, they're 2-1 up against them. I wouldn't mind if we get them. What I want, and I know it's one doesn't always get, but same thing I said about the draw originally. That home tie could be important, whoever you get. That's something that the Leicester fans will want. And I know every team says they want that, but you want to go into that. And I always want in a competition that's two-legged like this to be able to lay the carpet down first in that first leg, because you don't want to go there like Rennes are going to have to, knowing you're in an uphill task and how volatile a crowd can quickly be if come 60, 70 minutes, it's still 2-0 aggregate to Leicester.
I mean, you can't, whoever we get, I mean, when I've read those names there, apart from maybe Lask and Bodlint, but even they managed to get rid of Celtic, so they can't be taken lightly. Marseille's and Eindhoven, Copenhagen, the big clubs that we were playing.
I'd rather them.
I just want Prague just because they're racist bastards, and I want to get stuff and want to get back from the last time. But
I mean, to be fair though, I do agree with you about maybe getting an opposition that's not as tough on paper and that. But I'd also like to say, well, hold on a minute, why don't we have Marseille versus Feyenoord or something like that, and get one of them tough teams to knock each other out as well.
I didn't pick Prague. I don't think Prague are an easy team. Certainly not. They knocked us out the Europa last year.
But what I mean is,
I want them purely for the fact that I want revenge on them. But Doug, thanks for the offer. I will take you up on that. I'll say yes now if that's okay. Arsenal Alex, good evening. Subscribe to you from Lucas' channel. Thank you very much, sir. You are most welcome. Looking forward to playing you Sunday. I'm looking forward to playing you now as well. I really am. And I'm glad you reminded me that there is actually a game. I wasn't sure whether we were still talking about a game on the channel earlier or not. But thanks for popping along. Thanks for subscribing, mate. Appreciate it. So let's. I want to take you back for good, because talking about being careful what you wish for. 10th of March 2001, and it was a quarter-final FA Cup clash. There was one team in it that was lower down the leagues than anywhere else. To say that it was a quarter-final stage they'd got through, Wycombe Wanderers. And we wanted, I said, I hope we get Wycombe Wanderers at home. We got Wycombe Wanderers at home, and the rest, as I say, is history, thanks to teletext. So, that is actually 20 years ago today. My God.
You know what? I tell you what, I'm going to start a counter in the corner of how many times you tell that story whenever there's a cup match. Like Uncle Albert during the war.
It's 20 years ago today.
I know, but God, I hate it. I hate it.
It just brings us down to earth a little bit, I'm sure Mike will remember when Newport knocked us out, but we have to be careful. We have to be careful.
Newport knocked us out, which is something that Manchester United couldn't do in that competition, isn't it?
Well, you know, that's true.
Yeah, on our way to win it.
You know,
that's when it was mattered.
Mike and I think it's probably filling Alex in on what happened. Looking at the BBC website, as we say, on that they always give everybody a chance to rate the players. They've gone for Albrighton as their man of the match. It's kind of funny that it's always somebody that scores, but he did have a good game. He had an absolutely good game on that. I'm just trying to find now where. Here we go. So they've got Albrighton, and he was man of the match. I think they've pretty much got it spot on here. Dewsbury Hall is only just behind him, and then Barnes in third. Schmeichel in fourth. I don't know. I mean, he didn't have much to do. He didn't have enough to do to get him that high up the screen. Inacho is then next, and he's then ahead of Justin. But he scored the important second goal, and I'm not going to sort of not
and
give
we know
him
that's
that.
voted with heart and passion, and it is looking at the graphics of the game, isn't it, as a whole?
But Brookline, I don't know if you are still on or not, but I can't seem to see Perez on there at all. Oh, no, he didn't come on, did he? But
the one about Perez, we'll have to get that counter up as well. How many games have Leicester won about Perez, and you could just have a reveal?
I mean, it's Brookline. You know, he's a huge Perez fan. Likes to remind us that we were never winning when he didn't play. Well, I think we are now. I jest Brookline, you know it.
Yeah, I know. So anyway,
this is what Alan Bennett sort of rated here. Now he has gone, and I would totally agree with this. And you can't really see it there until I actually just do this. Mark Albrighton, man of the match. I've probably got to agree. You know, his performance was age-defying.
Yeah, he is. I called his goal Steve Guppy-esque, but he does remind me of Steve Guppy. In fact, I put something on Twitter a few weeks back, like, who do you reckon your club's most underrated player is? And I actually said it was Mark Albrighton. He reminds me so much of Steve Guppy. He can hit a ball. He's had some good finishes over his time in his career at Leicester. He's hit some very crucial goals. He's always reliable. He can put a wicked ball in, whether it's on the move or if he's just picking it out from distance. He can't knock a killer ball across the goal and out wide to Barnes and players like that. He does it so well. And honestly, tonight he was just blue runs through that lad's veins. I know he had a long career at Villa from the youth, but he's one of them that escaped that side of it, came to Leicester, and he's made himself a real big hero in the eyes of Leicester fans. Fully deserved the man of the match tonight. And that's saying something given the standard of everybody's performance tonight.
It is. Now, I mean, the team got 7 here. I think it was, maybe I've got blue tinted spectacles on, like your friend, but I thought it was deserved an 8 or 9. I think we controlled them when they came forward. They got down to literally most of the time taking pot shots from a distance, not getting many on them as we saw earlier on target. We soaked up the pressure. Nobody's going to have. I don't believe any team, unless you're Man City playing Man United. Sorry, Mike, but you're not going to get one team that has almost total possession and domination. Is it 8%? Anyway, but so when they had it and when they were having their good spells, we were soaking it up. But when we were having our good spells, we were passing it about. We were actually finding our players. So for me, maybe I'm being, taking him by the score, but I would have given him an 8 or a 9.
I think 9's a bit high because we did have our odd moments, but I think about past games and I think about past things, and being as you like to always go down memory lane with your verbal reminder about Wycombe Wanderers, let me do the same. Take you down the past few times we've got to this point of the show. If we defend like that, we'll get beat by Burnley. If we defend like that, we'll get beat by a better team. If we defend like that, we'll get beat by Rennes. that performance has no issues with the defending. They have improved drastically over the last 3 times that it's been mentioned. So, Chris, tonight, I want you to tell everybody, you can lie for the sake of the video, but I'm going to keep trying going. I want you to say that, however, if Leicester defend like they do for that chance that Rennes has, they're going to lose. They'll get beat by Arsenal. I want you to keep the trend going because it seems to be working. That's one thing I do ask for you. But I did do a rock raise the eyebrow moment when I saw the 6 for the manager, because I'm in agreement with you. We've just won 2-0 against what most people consider a very good team in the division. They're having a good season. They're chasing Champions League down for themselves. They were one of the bigger teams in this competition, and we've just had a very good result against them. I would say 7 for the manager and an 8 for the team, because I agree with you. Whilst they did control that first half, they didn't actually do anything with it in terms of very good opportunity.
I would even possibly go 8 for the manager, because I don't think there's anything else he could have done.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they go on the same par.
You know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I did, like I said, I used the emoji in response on Facebook when I did look at it, and I kind of looked at it and thought it was an 8, and then realised it was 6. I did kind of look at it and kind of go, what? We've just beat Rennes 2-0 at home. He's given them a 6. But Alan saw a different game to us. Alan saw his game and saw it. Probably.
He was there in fairness.
So I'm not going to read too much into it. At the end of the day, he gives it straight off the cuff. We get a chance to maybe see a few things more and more, a few replays and whatnot. Alan
and I think you do tend to see more when you're at the match as well. And I do take your point about the number of shots that the opposition had. I mean, this game, it was far more equal. 11 to us, 14 for them. But Rennes are a hell of a lot better than Randers. I would go as far to say Rennes are a hell of a lot better than Burnley or Leeds. So they were the best competition we've played, but that was probably one of the best defensive performances that I've seen. That defense was a better performance than the Randers one, Burnley. I'd say that was the best defensive performance I've seen for a long time.
So can you just confirm this for me, Christopher? All wise one who speaks the words of defending better or will get beat. Are you saying that is the streak coming to an end? Or are you now going to say that if Leicester defend like that against Arsenal, they'll win?
I've said Leicester will beat Arsenal anyway.
Yeah. I just thought I'd jest with you for a little bit.
I know you jested. That's why I'm not biting. I'm a fisherman myself, and I was fishing a couple of Man United players the other day that Rich and Andrew that bit in Mace's thing. But no, I mean with Arsenal, and Luca's in. Hello, Luca. How are you? This is me, Luca, by the way. You're seeing the Chris here that's talking and actually managing to get a word in. I don't know if you forgot me at times earlier, mate, or what, but nice to see you. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you tomorrow. Luca's coming on our preview. No, Stephen, we're keeping you apart. But I say it was defensive-wise. I said before, didn't I? Look, it's not a shame that Fofana's coming back, but I just wonder what he's going to do to get into that. I think it's certainly if it's not the best performance of the season, it's the best performance of this year since the turn of the year, and I think the fact that it's come on top of the fact that we've kept three clean sheets in a row now. Yeah. We've won, apart from Wolves, we've won about the last 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think. Don't let me think, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You don't want to get ahead of yourself and start jinxing it. You can't help it when it's good form. And again, there's something that hasn't got mentioned tonight that we've talked about. Probably because we've been asked a question about Tielemans' commitment, which again, please stop falling for the lazy journalism. It's easy to point out somebody's suddenly looking tired and not interested when they've got less time on the contract. When he had 4 years on his contract and he was blowing smoke out of his, out of his unmentionables, and he was having spells, nobody bothered about it because we knew what we was going to get when he was back on form and got his head straight and got his confidence up. So, but I saw it today, and I don't know if you saw it, Chris, but when you could hear the crowd getting murmurs, because we did have that poor period, and it was poor because although we were dealing with what they were throwing at us, we weren't doing ourselves any favour just by losing the ball, trying to play it out, or we were making bad passes and giving it straight back. You heard the fans go, and you could see some of the players not giving up or anything, but like, oh, for God's sake, we've done it again, and getting a bit jittery and getting a bit maybe rushed and panicked. And I saw Soyuncu in particular. He took a step back and he got a good eye of people, and you could see him like, no, come on, clapping and applauding. He wasn't shouting at somebody saying, you do this, you effing do that. He was there encouraging them, and you almost felt, I felt like even the crowd noticed it, because they then seemed to go from oh to cheering the lads on, and that's such a great thing to see, given recent news. It just shows that these clean sheets, these wins, these players stop committing themselves. It's all, like you said, in a weird way, maybe Leicester fans are going to get what they asked for, which was we'd be crap at the start of the season and get red hot near the second half of the season, because
we're doing it Burnley.
Yeah.
I did have a moment with Soyuncu, and my son will tell you, I was jumping up by it, and I'm like, no! And Soyuncu had the ball on the left wing, and he did one of his famous Cruyff turns, and I thought he was going to pass it back to Casper, and there was another end striker next to the one that Soyuncu was trying to protect the ball from. I said, no, don't kick it back, because he'll just run onto it. Thankfully, he did another turn and kicked it up the field.
Yeah. And how about when he became left winger and then crossed like Robert Huth from that free kick? But apart from that,
I tell you what, Soyuncu, he was putting some good long passes in tonight.
He was, mate. I mean,
that pass to Barnes for the first goal.
That was like watching
Barnes
Brazilian.
Took it down well, but my God, it was spot on.
But again, it shows when the confidence is there, and clearly they found that cohesion in the team and between the players and the manager. And I do like to back this up, and it's something I do really appreciate about Brendan is, yes, he can be stubborn, but in a sense, as a manager, you have that right, being given the power and the position of manager, to be a bit more stubborn when you want to try and get the team to try your way and do things a bit different from the norm, which hasn't worked. And he held his hands up. Yes, he was a bit stubborn. Maybe he tried it a bit longer than the players wanted, because they knew they just, it wasn't working, and that's fine. But at least he's been able to do the thing where he's gone, okay, hands up. I was trying to make us a bit more diverse, and maybe he will go back to that at some point. He might try and work on it in the off season, but he knows now is not the time to do it. And he's obviously had a sit down with his players. And again, this is what I said to someone on a podcast yesterday I was doing. There's no way these players of the caliber sign a contract if there's any animosity in the group. He's obviously sat down with his players. They enjoy working for him, and they said, right, I've come up with, let's have a group discussion. Let's get the best out of us as a unit. Let's work together. And you're seeing it on the pitch. We're talking about not even 5 weeks ago, Chris. We were looking at our defensive performance and going, Casper's distribution, they're playing around at the back, they're losing the ball in areas, they don't look committed at times, they look to be nervous, they're getting in each other's way. This performance did typify that. Like you said, Soyuncu was everywhere. Yeah. And I mean everywhere. He was centre back, he was right centre back, he was left back, he was left wing, like I said. It does show that when this team gets it right and continues to get it right, we do get Leicester back to what we have been seeing. So it shows that they have been capable of it all season. We've given the right
Clinton, got to back up what Clinton Morrison said. Don't judge Brendan at the moment, judge him when he gets his, all the players fit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, 2 words, Brendan out.
Right.
Well, was that even being discussed? I was never a Brendan out, and neither were you. Yes, we question his tactics. It goes with the territory. I mean, I can remember. I think it was, I'm not sure which World Cup it was. I think it was the one when we got to the semi-finals and lost.
Oh, that was the York. That was
Robson was manager.
The one 2 years, 3 or whatever it was before the World Cup.
No, it was Italian '90, I think.
Oh, about that one.
It was a Bobby Robson one, And, England never start World Cups off very, brilliantly. We always, warm into it. And I know that, the rumours are that the players actually took Bobby Robson aside and went, it's not working. And he actually sat down with the players, listened to what they had to say, change a few things round, and we got through to the semi-finals, So the best managers listen and act on that as well as just, barking out orders.
Yeah, and some people might turn around and I am really happy with the way it's playing out for Leicester this season, because not so much a whole season, but I mean right now, because we've talked about it and I've mentioned it before that maybe teams need to start doing what the most successful managers in this division have been doing. All right, granted, Chelsea have been a bit trigger happy and have still won things, but they're an exception in my eyes. You're talking in recent times, Man City, Liverpool, and back in the day, Man United and Arsenal with Wenger, Fergie, Klopp, and Pep Guardiola. No matter what you think of him as a manager, the longevity they've had, I also feel that, and again, it makes the point. It shows you how clever and how good Brendan has the potential to be as a manager when he's given the longevity to ride the storm. Because, again, I know our form's great right now, and we're buzzing and flying high, and they're playing well, and they're getting better and better results, and it's more and more cohesive. But it would have been easy for a team that many teams in the Premiership, in fact, I can't name a team outside of Man City and Liverpool that haven't chopped and changed the manager every season and a half or 2 seasons or 6 months. Whereas Leicester are maybe trying to now be that team. We were the team that started to gatecrash Europe since Spurs did it in the mid-2000s sort of bit. Now maybe we're the team to go back to, to catch up to the top lot and take a leaf out of their book in terms of the longevity. Because again, then players don't sign the contracts if they think Brendan's going to go at the end of the season. They don't sign.
I'm going to cut it short here.
Sorry,
Brad,
mate. I know I like to waffle, but I'm just.
Well, no, it's just we're nearly at midnight, and at midnight I turn into a pumpkin. And looking at my body, I thought
you turn back into Gustav.
But thanks very much as always, Brad, for coming on. We don't do the board on these late matches as on these late shows. Sorry, as you know, I say it's just coming up to 12 o'clock, and we're getting into rich territory here. We might still be going at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Joys of Thursday nights and a late game, mate. But at least we're in a European competition to enjoy them.
It is. This is it, mate. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the week, and enjoy your trip away. Hope you travel safely and you have a good time, mate. And we'll see you again next week.
You'll see me Sunday for the post match.
Oh, I've got no Brad for the post match.
No, it's the. Ironically, it's the.
Sorry, I've turned 2 pages over in the diary.
To be honest with you, I've been doing the same. I was like, hold on, he said Arsenal. Am I here for that? But no, it's after that, because I ironically I will actually be away or possibly travelling just when the game kicks off for the second leg against Rennes.
Will you be sneaking down to the Amex to see a game? Are you?
No, because the reason I'll be spending the weekend there is because Man City versus Brighton got postponed for the FA Cup weekend. So luckily, I'm not getting tricked into going to the Amex for a game. Not just yet.
You would do. You would do.
Yeah, if they're playing Leicester, mate, that's the plan. That's the plan.
We will see you on Sunday, and hopefully, as it's getting a bit of a habit, we're going to be talking about a win again.
Yeah, and who knows? Keep up with all habits. Let's have a clean sheet. A nice. Tell you what, I'll say it now. I'd love a nice 2-0 win away at Arsenal.
I'll say it now. Arteta in, mate. Thanks very much.
The right man for the job.
Definitely. See you on Sunday, mate. Have a good one. Take care.
And you, mate. Take care.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Right, before I say, if you look at the shape of my body, I have already started to turn into a pumpkin. So I'll be honest with you, I'm on the turn. That's it. Please do it. Yeah, please give us a subscribe. It is very, very much appreciated. We are slowly moving, a bit like Ronaldo after a night out, moving very slowly. Got one in there for you, Mike. We're going to be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock for the preview. I've got Luca on my show, and we will be definitely talking Leicester Arsenal. And then at 9 o'clock, pop on over to Turf Moorhouse TV, where we'll be doing the prediction show. I believe we've got a Spurs fan. What a shame I'm not hosting. I could do the old curtain thing for him, couldn't I? Damn. I'm over there. And then, of course, we've got the match on Sunday. We're doing a watch-along for the match. And we've got Anthony, big Arsenal fan, and we'll be doing that. I prefer doing watch-alongs when I'm doing them with an opposing fan. It makes it a lot more interesting. John, good night. Thanks very much for coming in. Scott, you're quite right. I did call him an end. But, in fairness, in my defence, we had just conceded, I think it was the West Ham, wasn't it, where they conceded an equaliser. We were up. Yeah. It was the timing of it and everything. And I think, if I'm honest, I was right. On that game, he was. Of course, now, tactical genius. Who says football fans are fickle? Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Please smash the likes button and give us a subscribe. And if you've been listening on the podcast, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Apple iTunes, and Podcast Addict, or your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much for listening. We're the job half done. It's half time, 2-0. Fingers crossed. This is Leicester. You never know. I'll see you tomorrow night at 7. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.